After the success from Minister in a Maze, along with the popularity of the Balls movie and Tyler Whalen in general, Jetwing Inc. were the kings of YouTube in Monterey. Since Minister in a Maze was a class project and technically premiered in a classroom on a TV, logically ended up on YouTube, and thus started a whole series of videos based out of class projects, which were really great. Another series of projects were assigned, so more movies were made, of course. In a history class, we had to reenact a moment from the late 1700s American history. Tyler was in a separate group from Will and I, but we could work together as long as all group members were in their respective videos. For Tyler's group, we came up with the idea of doing a gangster parody of the Revolutionary War. The group Will and I were a part of decided to do the Constitution drafting, but we'll discuss that in the next video. Now on to part 1 of the History of Videos commentary. Starting the video, it's at Hardee's, but originally we were going to do it at Burger King. We were about to film when the ambulance came and pulled some guy who had a heart attack or something out. I got a little bit of footage, but decided not to use it out of respect. And then music from Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Eating some actual Burger King food. We didn't go to Hardee's for that. The music was very post-production. This is the last thing I put in, since I felt that it was kind of bland without it. And it adds a certain gangster touch to it, comically. And we stupidly put a cigarette in there. And that was one of the things the teachers asked us. And we were like, well, it wasn't lit. It didn't matter. It wasn't lit. Little segments. And this is before I realized how I could very finely edit things. And the sound effects. It's unfortunate that I couldn't do flashes on the gun muzzles. Well, what's funny is this is just after Will got his new car, after the wreck we were in his old one. And it kind of just worked out to the point where Tyler's car was kind of red, like for the British, and Will's car was kind of blue, like for the Americans. And that was pretty cool. And this part I decided to film kind of like a war documentary. And the gun sound effects kind of timed themselves with the video. It wasn't any fancy software, it just kind of happened that way. And you can kind of point out whenever Will fires, because that's the sound effect used. And that happened purely accidental. But whenever it's just one effect used, I tried to time it. And we tried to do the effect of the Americans coming out of the woodwork here. More gangster music. They're supposed to be doing drugs, but we didn't completely say that. And we told Clark that saying West Side was a dumb idea because of, you know, gangs and stuff. But he did it anyway, so we're like, ugh, the Western Hemisphere where America is. It's kind of crazy. And this is probably my personal favorite bit of editing I've ever done. It goes back and forth, and we shot each side at the same time, though. And I thought Beck just fit here. And it's amazing how many red and blue things we found to signify each side. And of course, Clark there's supposedly doing more drugs. That guy, his name's Aaron, the guy who's in the blue shirt right now. Him and the guy who's wearing the mask, we just kind of found when we went to a dollar store to pick up these guns and swords. Oh wait, Will had the swords, that's right. But we picked up the guns. And so we just kind of found them there, and they were like, hey, what you guys doing? And we were like, we're going to make a video. So they're like, hey, can we join? We're like, yeah. And about doing this at night, this is very last minute. Like that day that we were going to do it, it kind of came to the point where Tyler was somewhere else and lost track of time. And so he texted me 20 minutes before we did this. The white bandana for the white flag. But 10 minutes, no, 20 minutes before we did this, he texted me saying, "Come on, let's get ready. Let's get ready." So we kind of freaked and did this very last minute, and it had to be due the next day. And Will actually says snap there, but he kind of said it snap, to where, you know, the S word could be implied. And the dance party afterwards. There's a point in the background you can see a cop car come, and I'm pointing, there it is. It's actually the guy in the mask. His dad was a cop, and so he was just coming to pick him up. And he was asking what we were doing. We told him, he was like, "Oh, okay, have fun," and left. Anyway, Tyler texted me 20 minutes before we did this, and was like, "Get ready, we gotta do this now." And it was due the next day, so I was up nearly all night editing this. It was pretty fun, and I thought the anime music was just kind of fit with the dancing. Oh, Tyler's little dancing that creeped half of us out. And the video had to be a certain length, like about 5 minutes. So it's the point where I just used, well, it's about 5 minutes. Excuse me, 5 minutes now. But we decided to use the credits to eat a bunch of time. And surprisingly, no one from Hardee's really got all in our face about this. One guy poked his head out the door, just kind of like, "Oh, okay." He went back inside. Time taken to film about an hour and a half. That's about it. Historical accuracy 59% because we just pulled this out of our butts. Humor accuracy 90%. We tried to make it as funny as possible. Some jokes missed the mark though. And credits used to eat time. We're just kind of referencing the fact that we got some large credits. And I did this old movie fashion of recycling footage throughout the credits. But that's kind of hard to do with a movie that's maybe 5 minutes long, and the credits are like 2 minutes long, so it's almost like watching the movie all over again. And so the next video was the Constitution one, and if anyone watching my channel has noticed, it's not on my channel. Will uploaded it just because he thought that we should have something to show. It was probably the worst movie we've made, and it was doomed almost from the start. We shot it in the middle of nowhere, which I'll get into that in the video where I commentate it. And I had to save it because it was going downhill, and we had 2 visions for it, and eventually we just kind of gave up and went for a fight scene, and a pretty epic fight scene. So that's the best part of it. You can almost make that its own movie. Until next time, this is Izzy for Channel Lerock. Have a good night, everyone, or day, or morning, or whenever you watch this. Bye.